Hello again and welcome to one more video of this channel. Before I move on with my stuff, I want to show you the big guy here, which is, let's go full screen. I want to show this. This is the event that I have started working with, and it's going to be the last one I'll finish. It's an idea that we will come here and we will make a test because the ship's not going anywhere, you know. On the story, the ship is malfunctioning. That's why we need to come here and work with the generator to save energy and all that. It's malfunctioning, so we need to address the issues. So one of the things that we want to our character do is simulate to see if everything is okay with the ship controls and all that. So it's a simulation. So of course it is early development, but yeah, I had to make a widget here, which is not my forte, as you can see, but it's fairly interesting. And the idea was to actually challenge myself to make a full ship engine with full controls, you know. So yeah, let's see how it is at the moment, and then in the future when I upgrade it, as I said, this is going to be the last thing I will finish on this project. Then I'll show the newer version, the final version. So okay, this is also my reference of dynamics. Okay, you'll get it why, because it gets really loud. And yeah, that's my goal of dynamics here, comparing with other sounds of the game regarding the mix. And when I say mix in the music production wise, which is volumes and behavior at the same time, etc. Okay, not mix aiming for performance, because when I say mix for Unreal, we are talking about performance. It's a different way of dealing with the word mix. It may be a bit confusing. So let's see the engine of the ship working. So we can start the engine here. And okay, I can use the throttle. The sound system of the engine was made in Wwise. I'm not going to show the Wwise project now because I'm focused on Unreal. So some things I won't be able to show because it has been done in Wwise. So yeah, we have the throttle here, and if I press the navigation mode, it will bring the throttle to 50%.
Navigation mode activated.
Yeah, nice. If I press the park mode, it will set to the beginning, which is 10%, although it is like this. It's park mode. Okay, so I'll go to navigation mode.
Navigation mode activated.
And then I'll press the Super Cruise. What will happen is, when I press the Super Cruise, I'll need to wait until the Super Cruise process is ready, it's engaged, to actually be able to do something else. So it's kind of 20 seconds of waiting. So let's see how it is.
Super Cruise. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, now I can disengage the Super Cruise, and I'll have to wait as well.
Super Cruise deactivated.
As you can see, when I disengage the Super Cruise, the throttle is set back to 50%. So I can go to the park mode, and then I can stop the engine because I have already parked. Perfect, isn't it? After 5 years of practicing, we can actually pilot this ship properly. But what if our driver, our pilot, is a beginner, it makes mistakes such as trying to disengage supercruise without even having a supercruise engaged, we have an error and a wait message here. Of course, it's a system. The error system is a system that I will work on the future, but it's working right now. As you can see, I cannot disengage supercruise that it's not activated, right? Okay, so if I press the supercruise again and I can just engage in supercruise now,
Supercruise.
the ship controls are locked.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I cannot even do anything here. Now I can disengage it. I cannot do anything other than disengage the supercruise right now. Look, I still get errors, right? This is has no effect on the ship piloting, because once I disengage the supercruise, it will be set to 50%. And ship controls are still locked. I cannot engage supercruise again. I need to wait for it to disengage to be able to engage it. I need to wait for it to disengage to be able to engage it again. So it's a fairly complex system, and it's I'm still testing. There are some things that I want to improve, but it's working pretty well the way it is. So let's see how it is. How does the system is behaving here in Unreal? The big thing here, the big blueprint here is the widget. Everything is I did in the widget, you know. This one is the big one, which is where I went crazy with booleans and branches here. And I'll try to explain a bit what I'm doing. This is a system that I made my way, I could say. So I may find better solutions for this system in the future using further and advanced techniques on programming. But the way it is actually working, and it's pretty fine the way it is. So let's try to understand what's happening. First of all, when the main character crosses the collision box, overlap the box, it will create the widget, right? And when it leaves the place, it will hide the widget, remove from the viewport. And once we have, let's try to understand what happens. When the widget is constructed, we have some booleans here that will be set. For example, stop engine available is set to true, but the engine start is set to false because the engine is not engaged yet. It's not working yet, right? Here we have the throttle or TPC. It does a dialogue. It does a, how do I say this in English? It communicates with the RTPC system in Wwise, right? It sets a variable called throttle, which is a float variable that it's here, and this float variable is connected with the RTPC using the same values. The RTPC throttle that is set in Wwise, and it is actually connected with our what's the name of this again? Sliding bar here, right? So that's the system of the throttle that we have. But the big thing here is actually this one here. We have the AK events here, which is actually the AK events, which is more than one sound, is a combination of sounds and transitions. So when something happens here, I will get all the actors of a particular class and I will post the event. For example, the event called start mode, which is a switch events in Wwise that will help on allowing some stuff to happen and at the same time engaging and disengaging other stuffs in the background. However, for the buttons, everything is made in Unreal. So the idea here is we have the buttons of the widget. Then we have some checks with booleans before the events are allowed to happen. And I mean, if they are allowed to happen, they will be played, right? If they are not allowed to happen, because one of these prevents from it, we will have an error sound and a message saying wait, which is a placeholder, of course. Okay, so we will press the button and then it will occur some checks, and if it's allowed, the sound will play. If it's not, an error will occur. And once the sound is played, we have some consequences as well, because things will happen after the event has been called. So let's see the Super Cruise event. It's one of the most interesting in a lot of ways. So I will press the Super Cruise button on, and the first check that the system will do is the Super Cruise again true or false? What does this mean? Is Super Cruise already engaged? Yes or no? No, it's not. Okay, so you can move forward. If Super Cruise is already engaged, then it's true, so you won't be able to engage it again. But Super Cruise is not engaged. I just started the engine. So it will ask, is the engine already on? Is the engine started, or it is not? Because you need to turn the engine on before engaging Super Cruise, of course. No, yes, the engine has been started, so it's true. So yeah, you can move to the next one. If it's not, it will be false, and then an error will occur. And you won't be able to engage Super Cruise before you start the engine, right? However, the Super Cruise is not engaged yet. The engine is already started, so then we will do another check before allowing the Super Cruise to happen, which is the Super Cruise check. And it will make sense why I have a Super Cruise again and why I have a Super Cruise check here. It sounds redundant, but it's not. And it will make sense in a while. Because we cannot engage Super Cruise twice, right? But why do I need to check it twice, right? Let's move forward, and then it will make sense with the next screen. I think it's better than I explaining what it is just right here. So yeah, so it will check again if Super Cruise has been activated. If it's not, you can proceed. If it is, error, right? And then we will get all the actors of the class, and we will post the event which is called Super Cruise on, which is a AK event, right? So once this event has been called and Super Cruise has started, we will have a sequence. So let's go step by step. First of all, 0, my throttle will be set to 100%. So throttle 100% because we will make a jump, right? Second, my boolean Super Cruise check will be set to true. And it will be like this for 25 seconds because I need to wait 25 seconds to actually have the Super Cruise engage it. before this 25 seconds, what I have is I'm engaging supercruise. So I cannot disengage supercruise while it's engaging. I cannot use any of the ship controls while the supercruise are engaging. However, once the supercruise has been engaged, I can then turn off the supercruise by disengaging the supercruise. But I still have the ship controls locked. So I had to create two booleans for this, because this one, it's set to true immediately. Supercruise again. So you cannot disengage supercruise. You cannot do anything with the ship controls, and you need to wait. You cannot engage it again. You cannot disengage. You cannot use anything in the ship controls. You need to wait 25 seconds. But once 25 seconds has passed, then this boolean here will say the supercruise has been engaged. So you can, and if you go here, the supercruise off when we disengage the supercruise, the boolean will operate in the following way. It will allow me to disengage because I have the disengage again set to false. Right? Oh, I mean, sorry. This disengage again is another boolean that I have created here. It will, here. If the supercruise check is set to true, which means that the supercruise has been engaged, then I can disengage it. Okay, that's the idea. This one here, I got a bit confused right now because this is just for me to prevent disengaging the supercruise twice, like pressing the button 2 times. No, you will only press it once. Once you disengage it, you need to wait as well because it's a system of 15 seconds. It asks for 15 seconds of wait before you can actually do anything else, like controlling the ship controls and all that. So, the idea here is not to actually understand every bit of logic behind what you can do and you cannot, because this is a kind of complex system and it needs to be tested, and I still need some improvements. I still need to do some improvements. The idea here is actually to understand the logic behind the system, which is we have a button which we press, and before the event, which is the sound event, is allowed, we need to make some tests, make some checks. Is it true or false? If it's false, you can proceed. Is it true or false? If it's true, you can proceed. Is it true or false? If it's false, you can proceed. And then once the event is allowed and the event occurs, we have some consequences here. Throttle is set to 100% on this case. We need to wait 25 seconds to actually be able to disengage this event, because that's when this boolean is set to true. Before these 25 seconds, it is still false. And the supercruise again is immediately checked to true to prevent engaging supercruise again and again and again, one above the other, right? Once you engage it, you need to wait, and the only thing you can do is disengaging it. And the throttle is set to 100%. And you can see here that when I disengage the supercruise, I have to wait 15 seconds to be able to, because when this boolean is set to false, supercruise check is set to false, means that finally I'm not on supercruise anymore. The process has stopped, so I can have the controls of my ship back to my hands. So we need these 15 seconds here to a lot of things, such as setting this boolean to true so I can have a true false sorry, so I can have the ship controls back again. Setting the disengage supercruise again to false at the same time, because finally it is disengaged, so I'm not disengaging it again. And at the same time here, supercruise engage again is set to false, which is a boolean that is set immediately to true. And then I need to wait 25 seconds, and then when I disengage it, another 15 seconds to this boolean be set to false again. And that's when I can actually engage supercruise again. So it will be a minimum of 40 seconds of waiting from the driver, from the pilot, to actually engage the supercruise one more time. And the throttle is set to 50%, right? So that's the idea. So you kind of need to organize here, do a lot of tests, and it's a system that can get bigger and bigger and bigger, because I can have more ideas here and implement new stuff here, and I can work on the error system and create an error system more interesting than this one, which is pretty basic yet. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, and that's why I said this will be the last thing I'll return to before I finish this project, because it's the biggest event that I think we will have on this demo. So I need to make it nicely. You know, there are some things that I still need to invest some time here. But yes, I just wanted to show this on public because, as I said, this is a series where I'm kind of training both two things here. My English, like, you know, it's not my mother tongue, so I need to show things that I'm doing and explaining in English, which is always something that gets in my way, still gets in my way. And at the same time, explaining technical stuff that I'm doing in practice. And it's always, and I advise you, a suggestion, I don't know what to do, but if you can try to explain what you do, it's always a biggest, it's always, how can I say, when you try to explain things that you do, you are practicing a lot because you need to organize everything that you are doing, verbalizing it. It's a huge exercise. It's when you see actually what you do because you have confidence, and what it is still in the intuitive side, what is still in the, you know, I know how to do it, but I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, it's like people say, teaching is a huge way of learning, right? I'm not teaching anyone here. This is not a tutorial. I'm not in the level of teaching Unreal to anyone. It's just a vlog, a diary, where I show myself in pretty much a vulnerable state because I show my flaws as well. But the idea here is I'm doing this to myself. If it's helping someone, nice. I'm doing this to myself. It's to actually improve my English. And I think it's getting better because that's a huge exercise as well. And at the same time, explaining technical things I'm doing in practice. And when we need to explain those things, it really gets difficult because we struggle to say some things that we are so used to do it. But when we are trying to actually organize our thoughts and verbalizing everything to another people understand what you're doing, you really need to, you know, put things together in a way that sometimes we discover that we are not able to do it yet. So it's a huge exercise. So I hope this was interesting. Oh, let's see one more time the ship working here. Let's go full screen one more time here. Because after I have explained the whole system, I think it's nice to actually show it in practice again with more comments, right? One thing that I have just discovered, it's that this is, I think that if I start the engine here now, it will get the throttle up and it will bring it down. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, it did that, right? So it's a thing that I need to improve on the system. right? If I set the throttle before I start the engine, it will get the throttle up, and it will be brought down, but it will be nice if it doesn't behave like this in the sound. Like this, you know, that's not actually what I want. So another thing here to be improved. So yeah. Nice, isn't it? Beautiful.
Navigation mode activated.
Navigation mode sets to 50%. So let's do Super Cruise again. And again, I will engage it, and then I will not be able to engage it twice. And I will not be able to use any of the ship controls before 25 seconds. And after these first 25 seconds has passed, the only thing I'll be able to do is to disengage it, which I cannot do now because we don't have a Super Cruise engaged. So how can I disengage something that it's not engaged, right? So we have this error. So let's press the button, and then we'll need to wait 25 seconds to do anything else.
Super Cruise. In 5,
As you can see,
4,
ship controls are locked.
2, 1.
And I cannot engage it again. Yeah, now I can disengage the Super Cruise, but I still have the ship controls locked, and I cannot engage it again because it is engaged, so I cannot engage again. It's the Super Cruise check, which is the boolean Super Cruise check, which is still true, right? I will only be able to engage Super Cruise again after 15 seconds, more 15 seconds, which is what will happen now once I press the disengage Super Cruise button. As you can see, ship controls are still locked for 15 seconds. And I cannot disengage it again because it's already disengaging. And now that the AI said it is being deactivated, now I can engage it again. And I have my ship controls back. So it's a pretty interesting system. I'm pretty proud of it, but still some way to go if we want a full ship with full controls here. Even if it is just a sound demo, I believe we have the feeling of driving something here already, or piloting, I don't know the correct word for ships in English. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.